When the Dutch East India Company issued their first shares in 1602, I highly doubt they envisioned Reddit users named Titty McFartbag profiting $16,000 instantly online as a result of their creation. But that's exactly what happened. We're going to break it all down today. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Gigastonks. Today we're going to be digging a little deeper than usual into some AMD and SOFI tendies that WallStreetBets has made over the past couple of weeks in July 2025. I think the most frustrating and simultaneously intriguing thing for me is wondering, how did these degens know to enter this position when they did? Are they the broken clock that's right once in a while, or are they actually onto something? We'll be doing a few gain porn breakdowns, and I'll be giving my 2 cents on each of the trades. Remember that this is not financial advice, and stick around to the end of the video to learn about a very unusual portfolio strategy, possibly even unheard of strategy, that I've been using to see if I can beat the S&P 500 in the most retarded way possible. We'll start off first with user Chino. He kicked off his WallStreetBets career in 2022 with $111,000 in capital gained losses. He'll be able to claim the $3,000 maximum of yearly losses for the next 37 years. After dead silence for years, Chino came back to inform us that he was not only back, but that he was always making dough, the sentence forming AMD, of course. Back on April 24th, as the market was just beginning to rebound from fear regarding Trump's tariff policy, AMD was priced at just $94 per share, a far cry from the 53% from its all-time high just a year prior. Chino didn't divulge into exactly why he decided to dump $10K into calls with a strike price of $105 expiring in August, but it obviously paid off very well for him. AMD slowly but surely, actually not even that slowly, pretty quickly actually, ripped up to $180 from $94 in just 3 months. That's exactly what Chino needed. He sold the 18 contracts on July 29th for $135,000, locking in not only his first multi-bagger, but also buying some more calls, this time with a $200 strike price expiring in October. In order to be profitable, he'll need AMD to either rise immediately, like the next few weeks, to over 190, or to break 200 and become in the money by October. He closes out his post with the epic quote from Wolf of Wall Street.
I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving!
Next up, we'll meet user III Apartment 436, an Apex Legends player who started making some consistent, small, but credible gains in WallStreetBets over the past few months. I'm always surprised when nice tendy printing plays like this don't get more interaction on WallStreetBets. It seems like OP bought AMD calls all with the strike price of $175, but split the expirations on his 24 call contract evenly between August 8th and August 1st. The August 8th expiring calls cost him around $6K and grew in value to $12K when he sold on July 29th. The August 1st calls, however, having been eaten up by Theta a little bit more, grew in value from $3,000 to $6,000. They were cheaper both at the buy and sell points because of less implied volatility. It's basically the same exact option, but with less time for wild rumors or news to jolt AMD stock in either direction. There'd been no indication of when or why he bought, so being your trusted investigative journalist, I asked him myself. OP says that he bought AMD and Nvidia calls both on July 25th because of all of the news about AI. Then he bought more AMD contracts this week after the news about their AI chip. Since his buy date on July 25th, AMD has risen about 8%. Nvidia hasn't done half bad either, with about 2.5% in gains as well at the time of recording this video. So was he actually onto something by buying when the news came out about AI? Probably not, to be frank. Most things in the market are already priced in, and you usually want to buy a rumor and sell the news. But still, it's not a bad play to invest in AI and tech stocks in a bull market in 2025. The general tailwinds in the market are more likely the primary contributor here to his success. For our final AMD case study, we're now going to meet Mario, who really hasn't posted much at all until these past few weeks. Mario bought AMD $150 calls back in April. Remember at that point that AMD was hovering in the 90s. This was a half-court shot. I mean, Mario claims that he was in total despair and his portfolio had been getting trashed. I mean, whose portfolio wasn't getting trashed back in April, though? Mario exhibited some serious diamond hands and turned the $2,500 he put in out of the money calls. These calls were over 50% out of the money when he bought. He turned that $2,500 into $43,888. But that's not all. Mario has been holding AMD stock since 2019, as well as buying calls. This is an example of what the big players in the market talk about, from Sir Jack-a-Lot to Warren Buffett. Find individual stocks that you really believe in and then go all in on shares, on calls, etc. And not just wait for hours or even days, but sometimes months or even years to see the seedlings of investment grow into a tree of prosperity. One sagacious poster named Yukiyami asked if Mario lost faith in AMD. His answer was that he had a kid now and had been a YOLO degenerate for too long, investing money he'd saved while selling a different kind of commodity. Now he's ready to, quote, grow up and start buying zero data expiration spy calls. Titty McFartbag is one of the best usernames I've ever seen around this part of Reddit. Despite joining 10 years ago, they just posted for the first time earlier this month about some nice Google gains, turning $5,000 into $18,000, or a profit of $13K. But what we're zeroing in on today is the Intel puts that they pocketed $16,000 on this week. For those living under a rock, Intel has managed to somehow suffer and lose market share over the last several years, while most companies, think AMD and Nvidia, in their industry have been performing tremendously well. Titty McFartbag bought puts on July 24th, buying 200 contracts at an average cost of 49 cents, so about $9,800 on the line. They expired the next day on the 25th, with a decent amount of implied volatility due to the earnings being announced after market on the 24th. He claims he's been watching Intel earnings for years, and that they almost always tank on earnings day except for a rare black swan event. He took his chances and they paid off, selling at around $130 to $140 per contract and turning his 10K bet into around $26K. You can see here that some of his puts didn't actually pay off, either they expired too soon or were too far out of the money, but his main positions, like the $22 put expiring on July 25th, for example, brought home the big bucks. I'm trying to make big bucks too, and that's why I'm announcing that I've created a crazy new strategy that will also double as a future video. A few weeks ago, I had random people at an American carnival tell me where to invest my hard-earned cash for the summer and fall. 10 complete strangers built the stock portfolio for me, and I'm going to track it for 6 months before the big reveal here on the channel, which will also serve as a face reveal. The sneak peek here shows that it's beating the S&P 500 somehow so far, but I've got several months to go before doing a full breakdown video. Do you want to see my actual positions, what I've invested in and how much, and also get regular updates on how it performs before my American Carnival portfolio video goes live on the channel? Head over to Gigastonks official Discord to see exactly where I've put my money. On top of that, meet a group of like-minded traders that are ready to break down the market and print tendies together. First link in the description below. We'll close out by looking at a couple of SOFI gains and breaking down how these tendies were made. Meet Hobbs MD. He's been on Reddit for 12 years, but I really skimmed through because it was mostly all r/politics. Chicago resident Hobbs MD bought 42,000 shares of SOFI. He was up 136% from his average cost, as well as making some multi-baggers on calls as well, all but the most out-of-the-money call printing. Things intensified several days later when he had positions in SOFI gaining up to 1,000%. The shares had nearly 3x'd, and he made over 200K in a single day. I couldn't find much due diligence or analysis from OP except for on his first of the 3 posts titled "We," where he says that it was many years of accumulation for him. Again, just like previous poster Mario, Hobbs MD found a stock that he was willing to believe in for years. He began DCAing, which is dollar cost averaging, buying every so often for years at a time, not looking at the price day to day, but locking in on generational gains that can be made over the period of many years. It surely paid off for him. Just today, OP was up over $600,000 with a total market value of just a hair under $1 million. When asked what made OP go so heavy in this stock, he said that the fundamentals had been solid for a long time and he'd been DCAing since 2022, and that he believed SoFi CEO Anthony Noto was the GOAT. And now a slightly smaller but no less impressive win belongs to No Coconut 4983. He bought calls on SoFi over the past week and sold for a $9,000 profit, turning $6,000 into $15,000. OP claims that his strategy here was that he, quote, bought some last week and a few more yesterday in desperation for this outcome and to reduce his average option cost as all of his other plays lost. Finally, one came up in green. The lesson from this play is that WallStreetBets can act a little bit like social media. This is the only time Coconut posted, so it might induce FOMO to think that everyone is always winning, but in reality, he didn't post any of his losses, and we're not even sure if he's in the green all time or not. I prefer communities that keep it real, kind of like the Gigastonks Discord server, where we filled half of the OG Degen roll slots, but we've got a few left. We discuss our gains, losses, crypto, stocks, options, and more. And if you're part of the first 69 members, you will get that OG Degen roll slot as well. It's going to be a hell of a ride for the community. Join via the link in the description below. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you soon.